Hello, 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 everybody. So, I've recently started laddering again, doing some 1v1. And of course, being super rusty, I thankfully got demoted though, so I'm not in like super, like, I was only in platinum, but it was kind of hard for me, considering how long it has been since I've been doing laddering. So I got demoted, so this is only a gold level game, but still, I thought I'd bring it to you guys. I had a little bit of fun, and the biggest thing for me is I have a lot of trouble Protoss versus Terran, so it was extremely nice to finally win a game of Protoss vs Terran, and I just felt like casting it, going through the game, seeing how it went. It was a pretty long game, it was sort of back and forth macro. One thing that I'm not too good at with Protoss is trying to be aggressive versus Terran, because usually that doesn't pay off, because most of the time my army just gets slaughtered. So this was an interesting game too though, because I almost lost this game a couple times. I came pretty close to the brink of extinction, and just barely managed to hold on. So anyways, here we go. Sort of a standard build order coming out for me as far as Protoss goes, 13 gate or 12 gate and 13 gas, and then you send your scout off after your gateway, and just coming into his base, chilling out in his mineral line, and saying hello, how do you do, guys? And yeah, so now I'm just gonna take a quick peek around. I'm checking to see if he has gas. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for. Is he starting his gas? No, he has not started his gas yet. He just got a marine or two coming out. That basically means no marauder. And sucks though that I don't. Oh no, I do see his command center going down, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, there we go. But of course sucks this part. But yeah, this player trying to do some pro league, like one racks expand, and that totally would have died if I had decided to do any sort of aggression. If I just, like if I had actually wanted to, I could have probably killed him very easily by just throwing down some more gateways, stopping work production, building up units, and just going out for an attack. And of course, Stalker's here, totally able to out-micro this. So yeah, that's something I'm going to do, is just... And then of course Sentry comes out, and that kind of sucks for him in terms of he just lost. And he doesn't even cancel this, that's pretty bad. So he loses 250 resources for absolutely no reason, considering he could have cancelled that, it would have only been 150, but either way. So I'm just going to do a simple 3-gate robo. Except that I'm not doing it the way that you'd usually do it. I did 3 gateways into a robo, but either way, not the end of the world. And once again, just going to secure this watchtower, because I'm pretty sure that he's not going to have too much army on the field, not going to be going out too much. I was thinking about poking with my stalkers, but then I was kind of like, you know what, I don't need to waste my time trying to do that much micro. And here, you can see, almost losing one because I was a little busy back at home just trying to sort of do some general things. And of course knowing that I need to expand soon, because he is getting quite ahead now that he's got that expansion up. So I'm definitely got that in the back of my mind, but I'm actually a little more worried about getting attacked because of that marauder there. I saw he had a marauder in his army. I see the scan come down. I think, uh-oh, he might be attacking. So a bit of a misread by me. Probably should have just kept this watchtower here. That definitely is going to put me a little bit further behind, because economy-wise, if we look at the income tab here, he actually hasn't been doing a good job of building SCVs. But otherwise, he is ahead because he's got those mules that he can call down. So if he has the same number of SCVs, he's definitely ahead. He can call down mules. And my actual count is actually higher than his for some reason. My resource collection. I have no clue how, considering we're mining the same amount of gas. He must just have a lot of workers building stuff, or idle. Such as was building, such as now idle. Such as 2 more building down there, so that's one of the small advantages. And of course, here we go. I'm just going to poke in with an observer, hope he doesn't have any detection. Pushing out with my army, finally expanded because I realized it was safe. And one thing I see that I really like, I see a couple bunkers here. And I say, ooh, that could be potentially really good for me, bunkers. As long as he's not doing some sort of crazy tech play. No, he's not. He's just playing defensive, so I'm just going to hold this watchtower. I get vision. As long as I'm keeping my eyes on the minimap, my units can get away before he does any attack. Just getting some valuable scouting information. Scouting is definitely important. Try and get the information if you can, because basically I look at this and I say he's going Marine Marauder Medevac and maybe going tank. I didn't know it would be tanks, except for seeing that siege tank there. But, I kind of had a feeling that that was just there for some tanks. And so that kind of gets me thinking, okay, tanks, what do I want to do? Do I want to get Void Rays or Phoenixes to lift off the tanks, or do I want to go just for Charge Lots? And of course I've decided, well, I'm going to go Charge Lot Archon, because that's actually a pretty decent composition. You get the Archons out for the splash damage instead of Colossi, and then you get the Charge Lots help deal with the tanks, is the big thing. They deal with a bit of everything, but especially the tanks is the big deal there. And of course, just going to keep bringing out some immortals for now, especially with siege tanks going to be on the field, and expanding again. And that's the big thing about seeing all these bunkers go down, is I know it's pretty safe to be able to expand again. I could have even expanded one more time, just, you know, but of course you want to be careful never to be too greedy, because it could hurt you in the long run. And, you know, for gold level play, this is, you know, there's obviously going to be a lot of little mistakes if we pick through everything, you know, such as, you know, how many workers he's building and his micro and other stuff. But otherwise, in terms of just, you know, how it looks as a general picture, this guy's doing pretty good. He's got quite a lot of barracks out for a lot of production. He is working on his upgrades. You know, I'm sure he's already got combat shields, and he's working on his armor and attack upgrades. He's got some siege tanks out, you know. It's definitely not slouch. And of course my poor stalker's like, oh my god, run away! And yeah, if we look at the income tab here, you can see I'm definitely pulling way ahead in workers, and that's definitely going to keep me in this game. And hopefully help me win the game, but I kind of spoiled that for you guys already. So if you don't remember what I said, And of course now I'm going for the double forge chrono boosted upgrades, and there's my Templar archives coming down as well. And just finished the charge research. So, yeah, definitely, the only thing is I do have, there we go, finally moving some guys. Oversaturation was pretty bad. And what's interesting is I wouldn't even know he was coming through this attack lane if he hadn't sent that one Marauder there as a bit of a scout, and then I see the rocks being attacked. So, poor Observer's going to get taken out real soon. Of course, want to be very careful not to go into range of those siege tanks, that's the big thing. And of course, once he sniped that, Observer with that ghost, I realized, oh, he has a ghost, so that's why my army is being spread out like this. Getting some Archons for that splash. Just keeping my army in a nice concave there, keeping it just out of range of the tanks. The tanks will have to come down onto the low ground if they want to siege up. At that point, I'll be able to see that. I've got charge lots, they can easily get in there, do some damage. And the big thing is, yes, everything is on hold position, you'll notice, because it's very important that they don't run forward and get aggroed by a tank. And, forgot to bring my Archons with me. That's what happened. He's got to drop up here, but I know that's going to be a distraction for his main army. So my main army stays in position to be able to fight this attack. And then I just let a few buildings fall, warp in whatever zealots I can to deal with that. And if we look at the income loss tab, definitely that battle, I did not come out behind, which is, you know, quite often I do come out far behind with big battle, which is awesome. I definitely fell behind a little bit, but you know what, I'm so ahead economically right now, it's not the end of the world. But I did lose a Robo-Bay and a couple gateways, but no major tech. He didn't take out Twilight Council, didn't take out Templar Archives, my double forge is still going. So a bit of building placement definitely helps. That was on purpose, you know, except for the Robo-Bay wasn't specifically on purpose, but just putting a couple gateways here, the way I built, you know, everything around here and then pushed back the forges there, that's definitely all designed to help prevent dying to drops and stuff like that. If we look at the income tab, definitely staying way ahead in the income race. And I have, you know, I'm falling behind in the units lost rate, so I definitely need to stay ahead. But as you can see, still have some immortals because of those tanks. But now I'm saving some Templars for Storm, which I hate to say it, but I kind of forget about them at one point, which sucks. Got some pylons here as scout, this one too. What's hilarious is I built this pylon and he's got a base there and I had no clue. Like, woo! And of course I saw his army moving there and I knew the tanks wouldn't be sieged up because of how fast he was moving. So I took a gamble and see, forgetting about my storm, that was brutal. And then by the time I remembered I had storms right there, the last one died. And that was a bad moment for me. I basically lost my whole army because I didn't storm. And he lost like 5 units. So I'm just going to sacrifice that base, keeping the workers alive, that's really important. If you get the chance, keep your workers alive, because otherwise you take a lot of damage. And major drop in my base. Thankfully these tanks aren't being too useful, otherwise that could have spelled disaster for me. And I'm just trying to rebuild what I can, getting out some Archons for that splash, getting out, and watch the sick feedback. BAM! Yeah! So yeah, just getting out some Archons, getting out some Zealots. If he actually had attacked me right now with everything, I would have lost. So, thankfully he was too busy trying to do drop plays, stuff like that, to actually go in and attack me. Come on. Come on, Storm. Storm. This guy's just so low. Oh, there we go. There we go, that Storm managing to barely just save the day. Yeah, and then Charge Watch just able to clean up siege tanks effectively, and just barely able to hold on there. Force still coming close to the end, but feedback, couple medevac. Should have feedback more though. Oh well. And just barely able to hold on and stabilize. If we look at the units lost tab, I caught up just a tiny bit, but I'm still way behind. But then again, if we look at the harvest count and the Inca production, you know, he's not using this base. That's one of his biggest problems. He's finally transferring workers. Still got way too many workers because they're... So that's the biggest thing that kept me in this game, was just having that much better macro than him, you know. And of course, here's a multi-pronged attack. I just, not worried about that base yet. Moved all my probes away until I could defeat his army. His army was broken up. Nexus have a lot of health versus like 8 units, and he didn't even stim them, which is pretty bad. So that's the little things you can do to help sort of keep you in the race, keep you alive. Is just, you know, think about things like that, little engagements. Actually, I'll just go back, even though I usually don't like to go back. Who am I kidding? I go back whenever the hell I want to. Okay, so looks like I went back just a little further than I had to. So watch this battle go again, blah 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 blah, lose a little bit of stuff, blah 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 blah. Okay, and the other thing I want to point out too is notice how we killed a couple gateways here. It sucks to lose production facilities, but it buys me time. So definitely think about that with your building placement. A lot of times you want some of your buildings to buy you time, and then you want other ones which are sort of somewhere where they won't get attacked. Okay, so here we go. You're going to see I'm pulling all of my probes, because of course it's important to pull my probes. I know he has some units out there. I can't remember. I think I just seen like a unit there, or whatever. I knew that he did, and I knew this wasn't his full force. But not too many units there. I know my Nexus can live for a while, so I'm just worried about keeping my army together against whatever pushes up my front door, being able to crush it easily, and then come deal with that. If you look, my Nexus still even has shields to boot. So, and now you can see he's forced to run away because he realizes that I have the bigger, better army. And this is definitely where I'm going to get to clean up, get some free kills, especially with that charge. Bit of a misstorm. And I hold off quite easily. And look at this, my Nexus didn't even lose any shields. So definitely something you guys want to keep in mind at all times. Income tab still showing, you know, that's the only way that I'm staying in this game and I'm able to win. Throwing down another base, even if I'm not mining from it, after watching some more pro replays, it's definitely worth throwing down these extra bases, you know, or when you expand twice, because you never know which one will get taken out, and then you've still got another Nexus ready to go. If we look at the army tab now, you can see I'm taking a commanding lead of the army, just because he's forgotten about getting resources out. Now the other thing, you know, it's partially like, you know, it's been some battles that have been, you know, there's some that I lost because I forgot I had Storm with my units and stuff like that, but one of the other things you guys didn't really get to see was sort of my upgrade path. Just remember that when you're facing against Terran, you always want to go, I didn't really show it off in any good way, but you always want to go armor first, and then that way when you pop a Guardian Shield, any Marines they have deal like 3 damage instead of 6. It's pretty awesome. If you didn't already know that, but I'm sure most of you do. So yeah, there's not too much else to be said. I'm just going to speed this up for a little bit because basically I'm just going to sit back, macro back. I'm just going to sit back and macro, and really I'm just going pure charge light Archons at the moment because he's showing, you know, he's just been doing so much of the, oh, this is actually kind of good on my part. Okay, so here's me. Oh, hey, look on my mini-map, there's a red dot, or blue dot. Yeah, and then it's, oh, hey, let's keep a Templar there for feedback. Boom! That was so satisfying, but of course I totally missed these drops, which kind of sucks. So my whole army's gonna have to scramble run, but notice he's saving the probes. I can sacrifice that Nexus if I absolutely have to. I still have 2 mining bases. It would be nice not to have to sacrifice that. So I warp in some zealots right there to try and distract those units long enough, and I'm going to bring back in the miners because I'm like, you know what, I really want to save that base. I'm willing to lose like 3-4 miners to do it. And yeah, so able to hold that off and warp in Templar here because I saw his medevacs going this way, so I thought, okay, warp in the Templar there, or maybe that one was there before. Nope, just warped him in recently to be able to feed back if needed. And now I'm sort of thinking, yeah, I should push out. He's been doing drops, basically kind of shows desperation, but yeah, he's just going to redrop here. I didn't think that one through too well. But basically, I'm just going for a big push now, and I'm like, you know what, this is a small base, not too big to lose. forget to save these workers, but I do keep these workers from going into their death. And not sure if I warp in units yet, but I will just go back a couple times so we can watch this battle instead of watching to see what I do with that base up there. Dun dun dun! And I really, oh, there's all my Archons. I was going to say, I really don't have enough Archons, but they're all up at the back, or up at the top. And forgetting totally about my Storms again, though, which is really, really bad. Totally whiffed that. And Charge Watch is doing so much damage. As you can, oh, you can't see what the upgrades are right now. Yeah, as you can see, totally forgetting about Storms. A well-placed Storm there would have done so much damage. Really not microing my army properly, and that's because I was dealing with this drop finally, picking it off, making sure it didn't do too much damage. As you can see though, his upgrade's 2-3, so pretty good job, but I'm 3-3-1, so I'm definitely winning. But this is what I mean, oh my god, and finally I realized I have High Templars. It's a little too late, losing a ton of them, but I do have 4 left with basically full energy, which is pretty awesome. I'm able to stabilize, get some workers back on this base, got some pretty decent saturation there. And here as well. Oh yeah, that's actually pretty decent. It looked bad for a second. And I've thrown down a lot more production facilities, blah 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 blah. And I started throwing down Stargates. Just, you know, I wasn't sure. I didn't realize he was actually this far behind. I kind of thought he might be, but I wasn't sure, so I threw down some Stargates a bit earlier in case I needed to get out some different tech to be able to help make sure I win the game. But no, I did not. And this is about all she wrote. There's not too much left in his book. So let's just sit back, watch the final battle, and I will take my victory, even if I'm no longer in a high-level league. Oh, that storm was nice.